Why don't you join us? Maybe you too have a part to play in this story.
Breaking news tonight, outrage after the police killing of a black man in Atlanta.
"2020 isn't even halfway over, and I feel like I've aged at least 8 times so far. But amidst all the anxiety and anguish that's come out of the past few months, I've found myself looking for sources of hope. And I think I found it in a little indie game called Hellblade: SENUA'S Sacrifice. SENUA'S Sacrifice was released in 2018 to a warm public reception, primarily in regard to the graphics achieved by such a small studio. And the graphics are incredible. But that's not what I want to talk about today. Today I want to discuss a very specific mechanic that the studio, Ninja Theory, employed in SENUA'S Sacrifice that I find enlightening. But before I get into that, let me attempt an explanation. SENUA'S Sacrifice is a video game that crosses into the realm of art. I do not say this lightly, of course, but I feel it's important to distinguish this particular fact before I delve too deeply into the nitty-gritty of the game. There's a certain frustration I feel when I try to explain games that achieve this feat. It's a tightrope balance between wanting to tell everyone everything about it and not wanting to ruin the experience. It's not having enough words to properly describe the feeling provoked by the gameplay, as well as having so many thoughts and ideas racing through my mind that I could never get them all out if someone wanted me to. SENUA'S Sacrifice provides me with this rock and hard place scenario every time I think about it, and it's frustrating to think that this game is typically regarded as the pretty game from the small studio because it's just so much more. But nevertheless, here goes an ill-fated attempt at summarizing an experience with words. SENUA'S Sacrifice is about a Celtic warrior named Senua who has really cool dreadlocks and carries her fiance's head on her waist and is going on a journey through Helheim. And see, it sounds stupid, but it's not. It sounds stupid to call it a hack and slash, but it's not just a hack and slash. And it sounds stupid to say that it has puzzle solving elements, but it's not just puzzle solving. There's engaging perspective work and runic puzzles and time travel, and it's just something you have to play, okay? With headphones, preferably. Because interwoven within all these structures and sound design and graphic showmanship, there's an engaging narrative about a person struggling with their mental health and this person's ability to overcome the obstacles placed in front of her. And that's what I want to talk about from the onset. The game's mechanics in relation to the idea of struggling and giving up. A primary game mechanic that is literally spelled out before you after the first enemy encounter is the idea that when you die, this icky black stuff creeps up your arm, and when you die enough, the game restarts completely and your journey must be repeated. This sends you a clear message: don't fuck up. And I'll tell you, I fucked up a lot. I died. I was constantly walking on beams incorrectly, or failing to outrun a fire, or getting whacked by one of these fuglies. But one time when I was getting whacked by these fuglies, I noticed something. When you're attacked repeatedly in the game, you get the telltale signs that you're getting your ass beat in the video game. Bloodshot border zones, screaming, grunting, etc. And it all reaches an apex when Senua is knocked to the ground. And in any other game, this is when you would get glory killed by an 8-foot-tall undead deer man without fail, but not here. See, Senua's Sacrifice can at times be an incredibly bleak game. Some moments are downright disturbing and despair-inducing. Hell, the game constantly begs existentially compromising questions like, why do anything? Why allow yourself to experience suffering? Why not just give up and go home and vegetate? Senua's Sacrifice's response to these challenging questions is a proposal not so much in the way of a light at the end of the tunnel, but rather tunnel as a destination. Throughout the game, Senua is faced with wicked monsters with devious intent, traitorous foes, and cerebral onslaught, but Senua finds herself more at one with her goals at the end of the game than she was at the beginning. Through her trial, through her failures, she, and in turn the player, learns that the key to overcoming the challenges set before her is the stubbornness and willpower to not give up. This is why in Senua's Sacrifice, when your clock is run out and the big shield is about to gore you into the floor, you can do this. Every combat encounter in the game gives you the opportunity to stand back up. And sure, you're slow as shit when you get up and you're covered in lesions and sweat and you don't hit as hard, but by God, you're fucking fighting. You're fighting for your fucking life, and you know that no matter how it all turns out, no matter what enemies pop up next, you will fight until there's no more air left to breathe, no matter the circumstances. After all, it's the most human thing in the world to carry on in the face of certain doom. So you just get comfy. The world as you knew it may never come back. You may never get out of Helheim, but that shouldn't stop you from doing what you believe in now. You may be here a while.